Hello, hello, and welcome back to today's episode of the Franchise Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Andrea Bailey Brown, and I'm excited to be here with you and to record another episode. Today, we are going to be talking about why you shouldn't go it alone and in the process of buying a franchise. And the biggest question I get asked often is franchise consultants, what do we really do? How do we help people navigate this difficult road or challenging road in their minds of buying a franchise? And how do we simplify it and make the process a lot easier? So that's what I'm going to be diving into today. And one of the biggest things that we do as franchise consultants is we help you to prevent making $1 million mistakes, which are really hard to get back from once you have made some of those mistakes. So, today's episode you will want to listen to because you are going to be able to decide whether, after hearing everything I have to say today, you would prefer to go it alone or you want to work with someone who has already been there and who knows how the process works and will help you to avoid some of those costly mistakes. So let us get started. In preparing for today's episode, I really had to start thinking back to what are some of the things that I have done in my life where I realized I needed help and I needed a coach or I needed a guide and someone else to help me through the process to make it a lot easier. And the first thing I could think about was I remember when I wanted to run, started to become a runner, and it started off with me wanting to do a 5K race, and then I moved it up to a 10K. But when it got really, really serious and wanting to do like a half marathon, I knew that I needed the help of people who have done it ahead of me. So I signed up for the running room in the city where I live in Edmonton, Alberta, and I would go to weekly classes, I think every Wednesday, and then we had the long runs, which happened on the weekends. And I would tell you, we first started off with the classroom section where you're in the running room itself, and they'll talk about how do you run, the best type of shoes that you need to have. Do you eat before you run or not? And if you were going to eat, what sort of food would you actually eat? And then we would actually go out and practice and we would run, and they'd give you strategies in order to help you run better, run longer. Do you bring water with you? How much water? All of those things. And I would have to say, within a short period of time, I became a runner. I was able to complete a half marathon, and I am still so proud of myself. And what I know for sure is the fact that getting the help and getting someone who had done it numerous times is why I succeeded and why I succeeded so quickly without any damage to my knees or to my feet or not being able to finish it at all. So I could check that off my list. So that's one of the examples of when I knew that I needed help and I needed the guidance of someone else. And there's a few other examples which I will get into a little bit later. So, which brings me back to this world of franchising. How is it that so many people want to invest in businesses and into buying a franchise to go into an industry they've never been into before, and they just figure they're just going to do it by themselves? And that's where some of the mistakes happen, and some of them which are really hard to get out of once they have happened, right? So, I know we talk about the world of franchising, which includes, freedom and being your own boss and not going it alone, or basically not having to, follow someone else's rules, etc. But ultimately, if you're not going to follow a process, you're going to make it even more difficult for yourself. So, some of the things that people do when they want to get started is that you start to search on Google, you get onto the internet and you are looking to see what is out there. And you've been looking for weeks, and more than anything else, you're just not getting started. You're getting information, but you are still not doing anything with it. So I don't think we have a knowledge gap, because we are in the information era, knowledge era, where everything has been at our fingertips. So if that is so, why is it taking so many people so much longer to find what's right for them and do it the right way? So there's something else I believe that is happening. And what I do know for sure is that making the wrong call can actually cost you tens of thousands of dollars and many years of your life trying to earn that money back. And I have clients who've come to me purely because of that reason, is the fact that they made the decisions that really was not the right fit for them, and now they're trying to solve it and figure it out. So what I do know is, and I'm going to recommend for you, is that you don't need to figure this out on your own. And honestly, I just don't think you really should. So let's start off with the first thing, right? And start off with what I see as some of the main problem. So the first one is, so many options are out there and you do not have enough clarity in what you actually want to do. And if you've ever heard the phrase, sometimes there are people that you're standing knee deep in water, but you're dying of thirst. And what that really means is, you're seeing so many franchise options out there. Last check, I believe there's over 4,000 franchise brands. So having the number of franchises that are out there, that is definitely not, that's not the biggest problem. The thing that people want to be able to do is, how do you know which one of the franchises actually out there are profitable, which ones are legit, and which ones are most suited to you and to your lifestyle? So there are so many brands that are out there, and I think this is similar to like being in the weight loss world. We all know like what to do for weight loss. We're supposed to move more. They say we're supposed to eat less, and vavoom, like then the weight just disappears, right? But why is that not happening for people? If we have all the knowledge, there's about 100 different programs out there that you can do for weight loss, right? You can also do the low carb, and then some people have the no carb. There's keto. There used to be the Atkins. There's just medication where people are just giving themselves injections. They're doing it that way as well. And so if there are so many options of, and we know what to do, then why is this not happening? And I think it's not the lack of opportunities, is to find the right one for you, and also for the clarity as to how to pick the franchise brand that is actually the best fit for you. Another thing that makes this process a bit overwhelming for so many people, and some of the clients that I've worked with in the past, is they're afraid of being sold to and not knowing who's on their side. And this is where having a great franchise coach, a franchise consultant, comes in to really help you. When the franchise coach really doesn't, as a coach, we don't work for any one company. I represent over 600 different brands, so it makes it a lot easier for me to focus on my clients and for what is right for them. So some people are afraid of being sold to and being pushed into something, and that's never a good feeling as well. And I think that also adds to some of the doubt. Now, a third thing that I think that has created the overwhelm for so many people is there's the legal and the financial complexity in understanding how this world actually works. And something else that I see is there's a lot of terminologies, and people are entering into a new industry that they really don't know and have never seen some of the terminologies before. So when we're looking, for example, at a franchise disclosure document, what is that? And some people have never heard of it before. And the franchise disclosure document will give you the fees, the earnings claims, and the agreements. And a lot of it feels like a foreign language for a lot of the clients and people that I've worked with. And we have super smart people that we work with and clients, but the bottom line is you are entering into a completely new industry that you have never been in before. So, of course, it is going to sound like vous parlez français, je ne comprends, qu'est-ce que c'est? Exactly. A completely different language when you've not heard of FDDs, the franchise agreement. What's in that? What is the item 7, item 19? Like, there's so many lingos that are specific to the franchise industry, and then people get a little bit confused. Now, let's talk about the fourth thing that I see that even leads more to this overwhelm is that you are not just having a job change, you're having a life change, right? It's your money, your lifestyle, and you're looking at your future as well. And with a job change, it is great. You're working here at one place and you've gotten another job at another place, and it is like, within 2 weeks, you are going to be getting another paycheck, and life just goes on as normal financially. Of course, in a new workplace, you have to learn about the people, what the processes are in that job, and but you'll get caught up very soon. But the biggest fear for people, it's the money side, and with a job change, you don't have to skip a beat. Life goes on as normal. Now, in the franchising world, that's where when you're buying a business, that's where it gets a lot different, because there's no quick guarantee that within 2 weeks, this business is up and running. I think a lot of people that I've been meeting and talking to don't really understand the difference between a job and a business. A business takes time to build, right? It takes time for the community to know that you actually exist. It takes time to sell things. Depending on the business that you're getting in, it takes time for the marketplace to even know that you exist, even with a franchise brand. You can open a brand new McDonald's in Timbuktu tomorrow, and without a lot of marketing and letting people know that it exists, they're starting off at zero sales as well. And so you have to give a business time to grow and for people in the community to know that you exist is what I want to say, right? So you have to put some time into the business and give it some time to actually grow. So let's talk about what franchise consultants actually do and what they don't do, and how they can actually help you during the franchise buying process and help to alleviate some of the challenges that you may actually have. All right, so let's get into that section now. All right. We are going to start off. So some of the misconceptions that we have in this industry is that consultants are salespeople, and maybe some are, but in our agency, we are not salespeople who just push random brands to you because they exist. We actually start off with having a relationship first, and in that relationship, we get to know our clients, right? We get to start with their goals, their strengths, the risk tolerance, their lifestyle, what they want to do, how much they want to spend. So we are actually developing the relationship first with our clients. And then once we get to know them, and we start off by doing an assessment with them. So similar to if you were to hire a fitness coach, I've worked with different coaches along the way. I've worked with a fitness coach, I've worked with a nutritionist. When I wanted to learn to swim, I got someone to help me to figure out what's the best way, how do you do your strokes, how to overcome the fear of the deep water. So we do the same with our clients, because for some of them, they feel like buying a franchise, they're getting into deep water and they don't really know how to tread water or how to float. And so we're saying, hey, let us be your guide and let us work with you and help you along the way. So as franchise consultants and coaches, we help you avoid a few things. Number one, wasting time on brands that don't match your budget or your values. Like, again, I'll repeat that. We help you to avoid wasting time on brands that don't match your budget or your values. Super, super important. Why spend time on a brand that is $5 million and your maximum budget that you have is 50,000? And even if you're borrowing from the banks, based on your net worth and everything else, maybe you can get another 350,000, but not enough to invest in something at $5 million, right? So that's one. Budget is a really big thing. And so we help you to match your budget and also your values. There's some people that I know, I'm not interested in investing in cannabis myself. It's a values thing for me. Other people are. So you perhaps may not be interested in investing in a certain industry that doesn't, match your values. So why spend time on that? We also, the second thing is franchise consultants will help you to look at brands that they look great on Instagram, they sound good, but they have no long-term support. The team behind them aren't very strong. Maybe they only have a couple franchises. The franchisees that they do already have are not really thriving or doing really well. So is that a brand that you really want to invest in? So we help you to do the due diligence and to evaluate the brand before you do your full investment. And then the third thing that franchise consultants will help you do is to help you to go into business and help you to understand the numbers and the expectations, right? So we help you avoid investing in businesses without knowing the full numbers, knowing what's expected, and knowing what the potential for profitability can be, the potential for the ROI, which is the return on investment, which is very important to people. Now, another thing that I do with my clients, I help them to become very educated. They become the educated franchisee, because what does ROI really mean? And it depends on the business model that you are invested in. What does the ROI really look like, and what's the profitability for that industry? There's some industries that you cannot go into expecting a 40% return when the average is about 15%, 10%. So if you're looking for something that has like a 40% ROI, then we will help to guide you to say, hey, maybe this is an industry that you should look into, and these are the ones that you should avoid because they're just like a matter of fact. So we help you to become educated in the world of franchising. Now, here's what we do as franchise consultants as well. We'll guide you towards a short list of brands that actually make sense for you, not just in theory, but actually in practice. So I shortlist with our clients the list and the brands that will work for them. Again, remember, it's based on your budget, your lifestyle, how much you want to invest, how much time do you want to spend in the business? Do you want to be part-time? Do you want to be semi-absentee, passive ownership? So those are all the things we have to look at before we create a short list that we believe is a good potential good match for you. Now, we will give you recommendations to a legal team, to lawyers or financial experts who can help answer the legal questions to help you understand what you're actually investing in, what that means, what does the franchisor require from you as a franchise owner, and what do you require from them? What will the support look like? So we will introduce you to our franchise legal partners so that you can better understand what you're getting into before you sign on the dotted line. And also, we will support you in giving you the confidence in what you are signing and who you're partnering with and what to expect from each of the brands, because you're diving deeper into it than what you can just see on the internet or what you're going to get on Google. So, there's some really important things that you really should be looking at as you decide to work with someone to avoid going this entire process alone. So, here's some of the things that you gain from having a franchise consultant as your guide, as a partner with you in the process of finding a business that you really want to invest in. Here are some of the things. Number one, you're going to get access to many of our top performing franchise brands. And some of them, here's the kicker, they don't list themselves online. You're not just going to find them by going online. Some of these are like pocket listing. And we know how to reach them. So you may think you know all the franchises. If you may know 20, but in reality, as I said, there's over 4,000, and you don't have a list of the entire 4,000. So we will be able to give you access to some of those brands. Second thing is, which is super important, is the insight. So we give you insight, and we're basically having you look behind the curtains of some of these brands, and we know what the strong systems look like, what their culture and their leadership team look like. So we can say, hey, we've worked with this brand before. Here's what to expect. We have other clients who've invested with them already. Here's what the clients are actually saying, the ones who have done the investment in advance. So we're going to give you the insight, peel back the curtain so you can see and know what to expect. Now, we also offer you support, right? From the discovery calls, from launching and even beyond. We're not just going to, hand you a PDF and wish you good luck. Like, that is not real support. That is really not true support. So support is that we stay with you from the beginning of the process all the way until the end, until you buy and invest in the franchise. And some clients, this will take 3 months, some will take 6 months, 6 weeks. We don't know what it is exactly for you. Of course, we have data of an average time period for our clients, but we want to make sure that you're getting the support based on your circumstance and what you actually need. We also help you with the process, right? There is in everything that you do, there is a process, and you need to understand what the system looks like and what the process is. And that's the reason when I've worked with an exercise coach, a nutrition coach, I've worked with business coaches as well. And you know why? Because there is a process to success. You cannot just wing it and throw things the spaghetti against the wall and expect for it to work. There is a process, and that is what I've paid for in the past. I pay for the speed. That's another thing that you get when you work with a franchise consultant, is that you are working with the speed of success, because we are going to give you a way to speed up the learning curve. Yes, there is a learning curve here, and it's all new to you. You're not sure how it works. So we're going to speed up the process for you as well. And we know that along the way, there's going to be some difficulties. There are parts of it where you're going to want to pause. You're not sure how to carry on again. And that's where, as franchise consultants, we come in to help you to not stay stuck. When you try to go it alone, because I've seen this over and over, you risk picking a brand based on marketing and tactics, but not based on facts. You're also going to get overwhelmed along the way, and then you'll do nothing for another 6 months. Hey, you're looking at a business while you're still working at a job, looking after a family, doing some of the personal stuff that you need to do, go to church, meet up with friends. So you will get overwhelmed. And then what happens is that you stop. The clients that we work with that are successful is because of our guidance. We're following up with them, we're following up with the brands. If there are questions that come up, we go out and help them. We find the answers for them so that they can keep going and avoid being like at the stalemate section of the plateau. When you try to go it alone as well, you're going to be committing to a franchise you may later regret because you didn't ask the right questions or understand what was missing. You also did not do maybe any validation. And validation is a fancy word for speaking with other franchisees who own the franchise brands that you want to invest in, and they have done it before. And so that's what we're talking about. Validating, is this brand the real deal? Can you make any money? How quickly can you make money? These are some of the questions that I encourage my clients to ask, and I actually will give them a list of questions that they should ask when they're doing validation. And in the validation, you have to watch and see, how are people responding to the questions? Are they dodging it? How many franchisees are sufficient for validation? That's another thing. Speaking to one person, is that enough for you to decide if this is a brand to go with? Absolutely not. So some of my clients will speak to three, someone speak to five, someone speak to 10. It's really up to you, based on what you need in order to make a truly informed decision. So those are some of the things that happens when you try to do it alone. And then what also happened post investment, you may be feeling stuck with no one to turn to after you've already invested. Some of my clients, they still reach out to us for help with certain things, for hiring, for marketing, for recommendations. And so basically working with you post investment, there's a different stage buying a franchise versus running a franchise. So different levels at every stage of the game, right? So like I mentioned before, running a 5K, cute. Running a half marathon requires a whole other set of skills. And so that's why I became part of the running room and got a coach to help me to do it properly and efficiently, and to speed up the time that I was going to do it in. So, this is not just about buying and investing in a franchise. This is about your future. Your dream is bigger than just buying a business. It is about changing your life. It is about generational wealth. It's about transforming who you are right now and the person that you want to become, the entrepreneur that you actually want to be. You want to have the control of your life. You want that flexibility to take vacations when you want to take time off, at if your child is performing or you have a relative that's not doing well. You want to have the time to be able to spend with your family members in the way that you want to. You want to build generational wealth and definitely have impact in this world. You don't want to wait to have impact 100 years from now. You want to do it now while you still can. And without a doubt, I have to say, as consultants, we help you to make all of your dreams happen faster with fewer mistakes and a lot more clarity. We help you to mitigate against the risks that you don't even know that exist, right? And there's some things that you don't want to mess with. Your money is one of them. You don't want to mess with your mind or mess with your money. And so we really help you to not make some of those mistakes happen. So I appreciate the feedback that I've had from my actual clients when they said working with a consultant was like having a team of Wall Street experts. Working with a consultant, right? They could not imagine ever doing it alone, because they're even saying, even with the help and everything, there's so many things that they were really not aware of before they got started. So what you see on the surface of just like buying a franchise, buying a business, it looks simple when you get the help. But from the legal side, to the money side, and also another thing that as franchise consultants do, we help to match you up with financial experts and people who know how to help you find the money that you actually need. So, there's a series of steps that you will need to go through from step 1, 2, 3 to the end to opening your business. And it's important that you do it the right way so that you can have the results that you want. You are buying a business because you want financial freedom. You want to become a franchise millionaire. And there are $1 million businesses that are hidden in plain sight that a lot of people are not aware of until they start to work with a franchise consultant like myself, that we can say, hey, do you know that this business that you're driving by every day and you would have never looked at is a $1 million business? So we are basically helping you to figure these out and to navigate it. So if you are ready to explore this world of franchising with someone who gets it, with someone who's not just a franchise consultant, but I'm also a franchise owner, and I've been for the last 16 years. I've owned multiple franchises with different brands. Then I would definitely say book a call with us. And you can do that by going to our website, which is bbfranchiseagency.com. And you can book a meeting there with us, or if you want to speed things up, just send us an email at bbfranchiseagency@gmail.com, and we will be more than happy to set up a meeting to talk with you, to help you to get into this world, which is so amazing, of franchise owners. So I cannot wait to help you become the next franchise millionaire. And this was fantastic for me to be able to guide you through this process and make this the time that you decide to bet on yourself and to become a franchise owner. Take care. Bye bye.